Hey there everyone, welcome back to Utility Sports, and in today's video we're coming at you with the Jacksonville Jaguars NFL team mock draft. That's right, for the 2022 NFL draft we're going to take a specific look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and in this video we're going to do a 3-round mock draft. That is the standard thing we do for these teams during the mock draft process. And you see here we're picking 5th overall, and we already have seen a lot of really good defensive players go off the board, but surprisingly Andrew Booth Jr. actually goes 3rd to the Philadelphia Eagles, leaving Kyle Hamilton or DeMarvin Leal on the board for us here at pick 5. I think those are the top 2 guys available at this point of the draft yet. Very, very good defensive talents. Kyle Hamilton specifically, clearly the best defensive safety in this year's class. Really, really rangy, can play up in the box, has really good physicality, good size at 6'4", rangy safety, can make plays in the pass game and in the run game, and I think it's going to be really hard to pass on him here. 5th overall. Looking at some of the other options, Aiden Hutchinson, DeMarvin Leal, both good defensive players. Kyer Elam, another Florida corner. Of course, CJ Henderson didn't work out there in Jacksonville after he was traded for a 3rd-round pick from the Carolina Panthers, but he could make some sense at this point. They need another cornerback, in my opinion, on this roster. And then there's some good interior offensive linemen here as well. Tyler Linderbaum makes a lot of sense. Jordan Davis could be that nasty D tackle, that nasty nose tackle for this Jaguars team that I think they could really use as well. They tried getting that in Roy Robertson Harris, just hasn't panned out the way I thought it would when they signed him. But it's just too much value here with Kyle Hamilton. I have to take Kyle Hamilton 5th overall. He's too good of a player. We see back-to-back quarterbacks going, Corral and Willis. But I'm feeling really, really happy right now. Going with Kyle Hamilton 5th overall, that's massive value in my opinion. I think he's a top 3 player in this year's class. We get him with the 5th overall pick, and he solves a huge need in that secondary. I know some Jaguars fans don't look at safety as the biggest need. However, they just need some help up the middle. Jaguars fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm mentioning, tight ends across the middle. The game against the Dolphins earlier this year, Mike Gesicki lit them up across the middle. They've had issues in the interior part of that defense for quite some time now, and I think that this is finally a real helping point for them, getting Kyle Hamilton 5th overall. Now we're on the clock here again at pick 36. We see McCreary, Brisker, Christian Harris go all right in front of us. And we're at a spot here now where we're trying to look for best player available. We're looking for the best talent we can possibly bring in for this team. Now, wide receiver, I don't think is a key need anymore at this point, just because they did bring in Marvin Jones. They also have DJ Chark. I know he's out this year with an injury, and Laviska Shenault. Those are 3 good pass catchers in my opinion. I know Chenault's had issues with drops this season. I don't expect that to be a long-term issue for his entire career. Then you're also looking at Travis Etienne being a nice playmaker out of the backfield for the long term. So here I think you have to look for an edge. Zach Harrison, Adam Anderson, 2 really good ones. Adam Anderson would be a perfect fit into the 3-4, can come in off the edge. He's a pretty light linebacker, and I think he would make a lot of sense here. Also, let's look at the offensive tackle spot, because I think that's another key area. Trevor Penning here, an interesting player. However, there's a few guys I think that I could maybe grab round 3. And for that reason, I'm going to opt for that edge position, and I am going to actually go with Adam Anderson. He's been really good this year for the Georgia Bulldog defense. They're the top defense in the nation, the top overall team in the nation, and Adam Anderson's contribution off the edge is a good reason why. He's been very, very good for them this season. I think the Jaguars do need a little bit more help getting after the quarterback. Josh Allen is a phenomenal building block along the defensive line. However, I'm not necessarily sold on him being the only guy that they can utilize to get to the pass rusher, or to the quarterback in the pass rush. Kayvon Chason, I liked his upside when they took him. So far, he just hasn't shown a ton of production yet, which is a real concern of mine. But here now at this spot, the guy I wanted to wait for on the clock is still here. And we have another pick just a few picks away. I'm going with Daniel Falele here. Now, I know that the Jaguars are going to consider Zion Nelson because he's an in-state kid, but Falele is just the better overall prospect. Stands at about 6'8", 6'9", is around 400 pounds in weight, and he's an absolute mauler in the run game. I think this is a perfect draft pick for James Robinson, and I also think it's a good complementary pick for Travis Etienne as well. Falele can move guys in the run game, and I also think that there's a chance that he could stick at tackle in the pass game at the NFL level, but worst case, he becomes a dominant guard with his size, physical traits, and ability in the run game. I think this is a really good pick. Even if he doesn't work out at tackle, he becomes a very, very good NFL starting level guard. Moving in now to pick 77, Zion Nelson actually did go off the board. I was actually going to consider double dipping there at the offensive line spot if he was available, but I'm feeling really good about what we've addressed so far. We did bring in Dan Arnold as well in a trade with the Carolina Panthers about CJ Henderson, so I don't think tight end's a really key thing here for us right now. Mike Jones Jr. is out here out of LSU. He could be an intriguing linebacker pick for us. However, I don't see that being the way that the Jaguars go. I want to go look at that cornerback position because I think that there might still be some guys out here that could help us, specifically Noah Daniels from TCU. He's an intriguing prospect for me. I think that he could make some sense in the short term, filling in that slot cornerback position possibly, because they do have Shaquille Griffin. They also have, of course, Tyson Campbell, who they drafted 33rd overall last draft. He could make a lot of sense to me. I want to go look along the interior defensive line positions as well. Travis Jones, Tyler Davis is a little intriguing here for me. However, I don't necessarily know if I want to pull the trigger on that. Let's go ahead and look at the offensive tackle spot and interior offensive line one more time. Ricky Stromberg, Jamari Salyer. I don't necessarily know if those are the picks that we need to make at this point. I do think we go into the cornerback room, and I think we hit with Noah Daniels here out of TCU. He's a really good football player, and I think that's the thing the Jaguars need more of, is just flat-out good football players. You try and worry about fit, try and worry about how it's going to help your team down the road. You just get good players, you bring them into your program, bring them into your roster, and you say, hey, let's go out and try and win some games. We've got our franchise quarterback. We've made some really good draft picks already this year now, and we've gotten a lot better specifically on defense, and we addressed the offensive line a little bit too on day 2 of the NFL draft. These day 1s and day 2 picks are phenomenal outcomes for Jacksonville. Kyle Hamilton, 5th overall, is a great pick and something that's very realistic as well, because the safety position doesn't get valued in the draft process as well as it should have. Look back at Jamal Adams going 6th overall to the Jets. He was a really great player, really great prospect. Fell a little bit just because he's a safety. They don't get valued as well. Kyle Hamilton is a phenomenal defensive piece for Jacksonville. Then Adam Anderson, you come back grabbing a really athletic edge who fits your scheme. That makes a ton of sense to me there. They need one more pass rusher. I think that it helps them get after the quarterback a little bit more. Adam Anderson, a really good grab. Then round 3, I love the selections here. Daniel Faalele, I think, has phenomenal upside in the NFL. And then we're also looking at Noah Daniels being a nice cornerback that can come in, play right away, and then also can maybe grow into being a real starter in the NFL. I think there's some good upside with him as well. Overall, I think this is an A- level draft. 36, I would have loved to see one of the other edges, maybe a little bit better than Adam Anderson, be on the board to push this up to an A or A+ style draft. But at the end of the day, I still feel really good about what's here, what they took. And I think that this would give Jacksonville a lot of long-term upside, specifically defensively, which you need when you're going up against Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry twice a year. They have some really, really tough matchups every single season. And Houston, they're going to ultimately have a ton of picks whenever they decide to trade Deshaun Watson. So they're going to build up a team as well. They've got a lot to compete with. I think that this gets the job done, though, for Jacksonville. A really good stepping stone into the future for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, also subscribe, and leave a comment to be entered for a Justin Fields jersey giveaway. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, again, leave a like, and we'll catch you in the very next Utility Sports video.